is Nivia. I'm from Cakeland by Nivia and I'm a guest tutor at Pretty Witty Cakes. And in this free tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make gluten-free and dairy-free buttercream. Why I'm saying gluten-free buttercream? Because I'm using arrowroot. Arrowroot is just a thickener and it's plant-based. So if you don't want to use corn flour, gluten-free corn flour, then you can use arrowroot and be safe that it is 100% gluten-free. You're going to be using as well, this is just coconut cream. You need to put it in the freezer and then you need to separate the liquid from the fat, and you're going to use only the fat for that. And then you also will need some coconut oil. So I've got a spoon in there because I use this a lot. So coconut oil, and you will need to solidify that coconut oil as well. So you need to put your coconut oil in the fridge so it's completely solid. Your coconut cream in the freezer so the fat separates from the water and you gather only the fat. And you will need some arrowroot. You're going to put coconut oil plus coconut cream. So it's 1 part coconut oil, 1 part coconut cream, and you're going to add some arrowroot. The amount to add, if you read the instructions, it says 3 teaspoons per 200 milliliters. So just have that in mind when you're adding. The more you add, the thicker it's going to be. So if it's very hot, then you will add a little bit more than if it's if it's cold. And you mix both of them, you put them through a stove together with the arrowroot. You mix them very well. It will separate, but don't worry about that. Just keep on mixing, and just when it boils, you remove it from the stove, you leave it aside, then you put it in a container and you place it in the fridge or freezer before you're ready to use it. So I've got one already done. So here's how it looks like, and I put it in the freezer. So can you see that sticky bit there? That is just my coconut, the coconut cream that has solidified a little bit. Well, not really a solid, but that is what the arrowroot did. It's like if you put corn flour in sauces to thicken it. So it's going to make our buttercream a bit more stable. You can omit the arrowroot, but then you'll have to play with the amount of coconut oil and the coconut cream. Some people use purely coconut oil. The only thing is that coconut oil is very unstable if there is any warmth, and it will go very soft. I wouldn't recommend you to use this to frost a cake, but only to put it in between the layers, and you would have to refrigerate the cake before it's served. Otherwise, it's just, if it's hot, it's gonna just melt. Here I've got my hand mixer, and here I've got 100 grams of coconut milk and oil combined together, so half-half. So as you can see, it's going everywhere, but the thing is that your coconut oil needs to be solid. If it's not, it's going to separate. And if it does separate, then you'll have to put it in the fridge again and then start. So unfortunately, this is the way it has to be done. So I'm just breaking it into small pieces. Obviously with a stand-up mixer, this is much easier. So just carry on until it's completely combined and it's creamy. Okay, when you are finished, it should look more or less like this. So, still solid. And if you don't like coconut cream or coconut oil, obviously you can use other sources that don't contain dairy. But I prefer coconut. Me personally, I am allergic to soya as well. So I have to find other alternatives. And I don't like vegetable oil or Trex or anything like that. So I prefer to do it this way. I find it's more natural. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add double the sugar. So here I've got 100 grams of coconut oil combined with coconut cream. And I'm going to add 200 grams of icing sugar. So I'm just adding 200 grams of icing sugar. If you don't want to have sugar because either you are diabetic or you are on a diet, there is another way of making this frosting. And what you can do is exactly what I did, or you could use only purely coconut cream. Again, put it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then remove only the fat. And you just add a few tablespoons of xylitol. So now I'm just going to mix it before I do it with my mixer. Otherwise, my icing sugar is going to go everywhere. And if it's a bit too stiff, you could use either some more coconut cream or a little bit of either coconut or almond milk or rice milk, whatever your preference. And the good thing about this recipe is that you could also pipe on cupcakes. Don't add milk now if you think, oh, it's too dry. Not yet. You need to mix it really to see, because that oil is starting to come to room temperature and it's starting to melt. So sometimes you don't need any milk. So, and also you need to have into account that you added some arrowroot to this. So the arrowroot is like gelatin, so it will hold the shape of your buttercream if you pipe it on a cupcake. So this is your gluten-free and dairy-free, most importantly dairy-free buttercream. And I would not add any milk to that unless I was going to pipe it.